Hey everybody, welcome back to yet another video. I wanted to talk about the 2024 Saskatoon Entertainment Expo that happened last weekend, but now it's got renamed to PopCon, I believe, or ConPop. Well, let's see. Hey, hold on, I'm just gonna make sure because it's one of two I got. I want to make sure I got it right. So yeah, it's called Saskatoon Entertainment Expo, and they renamed it PopCon. Okay, so that's what they renamed it, but we'll get into the whole renaming or whatever. So before I get into this year's Saskatoon Entertainment Expo, if you guys have been following my channel for a couple of years, I've been going to the Saskatoon Entertainment Expo since 2014. 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And then obviously 2020 and 2021 were canceled due to the pandemic. And then they brought it back in 22, 23, and this year. So how they had these, how they had the cons set up, or how they had it. They had Calgary in April, which is still in April. They had Regina in May. Saskatoon in September, and then the week after Saskatoon was Edmonton. So the people that used to run the Saskatoon Entertainment Expo sold it to Prairieland Park, which quite honestly was a huge mistake. Big mistake. So now that Prairieland Park owns it, they swapped Saskatoon and Regina. So now Regina is pushed to September. Saskatoon now is pushed to May. And it's also a week after Calgary. So you got Calgary Expo and then you got Saskatoon, which is kind of dumb. And again, they have it also at the beginning of May, which is another mistake and another small big boo-boo, because you got the Montgomery Garage sale going on that weekend. So everyone's going to the Montgomery Garage sale. You also have Amazing Stories that has free comic book day. Now they got heavily criticized on Facebook that they have it on a week after Calgary. One guy said it's stupid, which is, I think I agree. Also, this year again, they were so unorganized again this year. So I've been going since, when they bought it back in 2022, it was $40 to get in the door, and it was a very small expo in 2022. Even though I spent it all day there, it was a very small expo. Last year was $37. So a few dollars, like $3 cheaper than 2022. But I found it, last year's expo was slightly bigger. But then again, one hall. So 2022 was on one hall, 2023 was one hall. And guess what? This year, one hall. Again. And I think this year was even smaller than 2022. So they got heavily criticized. A lot of people, were trying to defend it and trying not to defend it, and then they announced PopCon. And they renamed it again. So instead of calling it Saskatoon Entertainment Expo, they renamed it. They renamed it. Now, I don't know if the renaming of it is going to do anything, because now they named it PopCon. It has a good vibe to it, but if the outcome is going to be the same, This is the major issue with this place. with this. So first when I got there at 10 o'clock, I went in, I was there about 9:15. I went in, I looked, one hall. This hall was not being used. The one on the far right, I guess, was going to be I think that was going to be the Q&A for the guests, and then they had the other hall not being used. Again, all halls, there's 2 other halls that were not being used, they could have been used, but they went back to 1. The guests, again, Scott Grimes, was announced last year. He canceled. He was announced in the beginning of March. Guess what? He canceled again. So I don't think he'll be coming back because he's canceled twice. Just like Judith Hogg canceled at Regina in 2022. She was announced in 2022, and she canceled on, I think, 2 days before, and then she was announced again last year. She was the first to be announced last year, and then I think she canceled like on Friday. So again, she won't be coming back to Regina anytime soon. But with these ones, so with Scott Grimes canceling, they brought in, so I did not know anybody. So this year, I did not know. The only person I knew was the guy that played off a Twister, and he also played off a Liar Liar. That's the only person I knew. The rest of them, they had the guy from Superman Returns, which I did not even know. They had another lady, and then they had the two other guests that was almost like thrown in on like a Wednesday. So I think they announced these 2 other guests Wednesday. One of them didn't make it. One of them did make it. The other one had to cancel due to flight delays. Well, yeah, you announced them like you had to be here Friday, and you announced it 48 hours late. Like 48 hours, and it's like, oh yeah, you have to be here 48 hours. So I kind of like was not surprised that happened. But then they had the Superfan Pass. So instead of calling it the Deluxe Pass, they called it the Superfan Pass. And I priced it out $133. Not even worth $133, by the way. And I walked in, they had everybody coming in the main entrance. And they had people who had Superfan Passes. A few people put their hands up, oh, over here. Well, why don't you have, so there was a barricade. So why don't you guys have it where you have the Superfan Pass goes around the barricade and have somebody stand in front so they can scan and whatever and they can get in. So you're supposed to get in like a half hour before public gets in. And everybody got in at 10 o'clock. So even the Superfan people had to wait, which made no sense. So I went in there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I left at just after 11 o'clock. And that's where they got heavily criticized on social media. There was one lady that said that she left under 2 hours. So I bet you she was probably there for like an hour and a half. I've been going to this thing since 2014, and for me to walk in at 10 o'clock and walk out at 11 o'clock shows it. Now, there is a lot of people that were not there. Now, even though Rick was there, he's actually been always there. So he's always been there ever since 2014. So I don't think he has actually missed an expo. The poster guy that sold a whole bunch of posters, because that's exactly what I was going to go for, was go get a Twister poster and get that signed. Well, that poster guy was not there. Mystery box guy was not there. The guys with that had a gigantic row of T-shirts, he was not there. The poster guys, the guys that sold posters, they were not there. The guys that used to make T-shirts, he was not there. The guy that had a whole bunch of gigantic Funko Pop collection or whatever, he was not there. There was about like 6 or 7 vendors that were there previous years that were not there. And plus, the reason why they got criticized is because they have it at the beginning of May. Plus, they have it a week after Calgary, where everyone pretty much spended their money because Calgary had great guests, great, fantastic guests. And that's where everyone probably spending their money was in Calgary. And then a week after in Saskatoon. I would have actually pushed that back to September. And the reason why they have it, and the reason they also got criticized, the reason why I think they also got criticized is because they had the Montgomery Garage sale going on that weekend. If you guys obviously follow my channel, obviously we talk about the Montgomery Garage sale. That's the biggest garage sale I think ever here in Saskatoon. So that was going on. I think Amazing Stories also had free comic book day. So I don't know why they have it at the beginning of May. I would actually push that to at least mid-May, or maybe the end of May. That would be, to me, I would say that would be acceptable, mid-May, but or push it back to September. I don't know if I'm gonna go next year because $35, and I didn't get my money's worth. Like, all the halls are not being used. There was 7 vendors that were not there, that were there previous years, that were not there again this year. Prairieland Park, you got a lot of, and you can change it to popcorn. You guys say, well, we are involving. No, you guys are not involving. You guys are definitely not involving at all. You guys are not involving at all. So that's not involving, because involving is it's so big in 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, because all the halls are being used, and you guys bought it, and you guys only have one hall. So there's 3 other halls are not being used. And honestly, I've been going, and like I mentioned, I've been going to this since 2014, and for the past 3 years, I haven't got my money's worth. So I don't know if I might not even go next year. So whoever's running this PopCon, because I want to know, I would like to know who's running it. You guys have lots of improvements, and I mean lots of improvements to do. So I hope you guys get it going. Let me know in the comments section below, because I finally figured out how to have my comments on. So I figured that out. So leave a comment below. What if you guys did go to the expo last weekend, Saskatoon Entertainment Expo? Let me know you guys' thoughts. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.